We will try to unravel the mysteries that challenge our understanding of linear time. We'll take a look at evidence that suggests the existence of time travelers, anomalies in history, and even the possibility of advanced ancient civilizations.
We're talking about time travel here. Either it's all a joke or none of it is.
Starting our countdown at number 10, we introduce you to the Hipster time traveler. Picture this: a crowd gathered for the reopening of the South Forks Bridge in Canada in the 1940s. Everyone is dressed in the fashion of the times, except for one man. He stands out with his modern, hipster-like attire. He's decked out in a printed t-shirt, a hoodie, and even sunglasses, something unheard of in that era. But what's even more fascinating is the gadget he's holding. It looks uncannily like a modern camera, an object that wouldn't be accessible to the public until decades later. His clothing, his accessories, his camera, each of these elements screams a time period far beyond the 1940s. So, who is this man? A time traveler, perhaps, accidentally caught in a moment from the past? Or is he simply a fashion-forward individual who was way ahead of his time? Could this man be a time traveler caught on camera, or is it just a case of fashion ahead of its time? At number 9, we present the mobile phone of the 1920s. Picture this: a woman strolling down the street in a 1928 Charlie Chaplin film, her hand held up to her ear as if she's talking on a mobile device. The peculiar sight has sparked a slew of theories and debates. Some argue that she's using a hearing aid, an invention that did exist during that era. Others believe she's simply scratching her ear. But the most intriguing theory is that she's a time traveler, casually chatting on a device that wouldn't be invented for another several decades. Skeptics are quick to dismiss this, arguing that even if time travel were possible, why would a time traveler risk exposing themselves in such a blatant manner? Yet, the believers counter that perhaps in her time such precautions weren't necessary. Is this a time traveler making a quick call or just an optical illusion? You decide. Coming in at number 8, we have the time-traveling mummy. Picture this: an ancient Chinese mummy, elegantly preserved and wearing what appears to be modern footwear. Yes, you heard right. This mummy, believed to date back thousands of years, has been found sporting shoes that seem to be a bit too contemporary for her era. The footwear in question, sleek and stylish, bears a striking resemblance to our modern-day Adidas sneakers. Now, isn't that something? This uncanny similarity has led many to question the authenticity of the mummy's age and, more intriguingly, the origins of the footwear itself. Historians and archaeologists have been left scratching their heads trying to decipher this mystery. Theories range from anachronistic design to time travel, yet none can conclusively explain this fascinating anomaly. So, what do you think? Could this be evidence of a time-traveling fashionista, or just an ancient fashion trend? Photo 7, a snapshot from the late 19th century, seems to depict a crowd of people in traditional Victorian attire. But if you look closely, there's a man who seems to be wearing a modern t-shirt and jeans. The casual attire is a stark contrast to the formal wear of his counterparts. This discrepancy raises questions. Could this be an instance of a time traveler caught on camera, or merely a fashion-forward individual? Moving on to photo 6, we find ourselves looking at an old black and white image from the early 20th century. It's a typical scene of a bustling city street. Yet, there's something peculiar about this image. Amidst the crowd, a woman can be seen holding what appears to be a mobile device. Given the era, the sight of such a device is completely incongruous. Could she be a time traveler from the future, casually checking her messages in the past? Next, we examine photo 5, a curious tableau from the 1920s. The photo features a group of factory workers, all in uniform, save for one individual. This person seems to be donning a pair of protective goggles, strikingly similar to modern safety glasses. It's an anachronism that simply doesn't fit the image's time frame. Is it just a coincidence, or could it hint at the existence of time travel? Lastly, we arrive at photo 4, an old family portrait from the late 1800s. The family members are all dressed in the typical fashion of the era. However, one of the children in the image is clutching a toy that bears an uncanny resemblance to a contemporary toy robot. The presence of such a distinctly modern object in a photograph from over a century ago is quite baffling. Could this be another piece of evidence supporting the possibility of time travel? At number 3, we have the Swiss watch in an ancient Chinese tomb. This enigma presents itself in the form of a miniature Swiss watch, discovered in a tomb that dates back 400 years. The tomb, undisturbed for centuries, yielded an artifact so out of place that it sent ripples through the historical community. The watch, no larger than a ring, boasts an intricate design, replete with the Swiss cross emblem. It's a charming piece of craftsmanship that raises an eyebrow when placed in its unearthed context. How could such a modern-looking timepiece find its way into an ancient resting place? Theories abound, from the mundane to the fantastical. Some suggest trade routes might have brought this novelty from Europe to China. Others, more daringly, propose a time traveler's mishap. Yet the mystery remains unsolved, the watch's presence in the tomb a historical conundrum. Is this a time traveler's lost property, or an unexplained historical anomaly? Our runner-up is the time-traveling astronaut. This peculiar case revolves around a certain 16th century painting that seems to defy the norms of its era. The painting, a masterpiece of its time, displays a scene that is quite conventional for its period, except for one startling detail. There, amidst the typical 16th century crowd, stands a figure that strikingly resembles a modern astronaut. The tale of the painting is as fascinating as the image itself. Created during the height of the Renaissance, it was a time when artists often experimented with symbolism and allegory. However, an astronaut, a concept not to be realized for another 4 centuries, seems out of place, to say the least. Various theories have sprung up around this anachronistic figure. Some suggest it's a prophetic vision, an artist's intuition of the future. Others believe it could be a clever insertion by a restorer in later years. Yet the most tantalizing theory is that it's evidence of a time-traveling astronaut. Does this painting hold proof of time travel, or is it just a creative anachronism? And finally, at number 1, the immortal Vladimir Putin. We've all seen movies where people travel back in time to different eras, and Vladimir Putin seems to be no different. In these 3 pictures captured at different points in time across decades, Vladimir Putin was caught dressed as a Russian soldier. But the time gap between all 3 images begs the question, is Vladimir Putin a time traveler? Is he a magical, ageless being who has time and again defended his native Russia throughout the ages? Or are these pictures coincidentally showing 3 men who just all seem to look alike? According to a certain website, the first picture is from the 1920s, the second from 1941, and the third from 2015. The difference between 2015 and 1920 is that of 95 years, yet the man in 2015 looks strikingly young for his age. Putin's followers have even embarked on a mission, claiming that their leader is immortal and has been on the planet for thousands of years. Whatever the case, the mystery remains as to whether Putin is a time traveler or has too many doppelgangers. We've journeyed through history exploring 10 photos that may suggest time travel isn't just a figment of our imagination. Each image, a puzzle piece, tells a story that defies the conventional understanding of time. These narratives, each more perplexing than the last, stir a mix of skepticism and fascination. Skepticism because our understanding of time as linear and unidirectional conflicts with these tales. Fascination because the idea of traversing time, of witnessing history unfold or getting a glimpse of the future, is an alluring concept that has captivated mankind for centuries. While these photos may not offer definitive proof, they certainly stoke the fires of curiosity. Time travel remains a mystery, an enigma waiting to be solved. Until then, we continue to wonder, to dream, and to explore the realm of possibilities.